Alrighty, folks, we're back on the zoo with actor Wilson Cruz from Star Trek Discovery. Welcome to the cage, baby.
Thank you. My mic fell off.
Oh, your mic fell off? Wait a minute. Can I help you with that? Is it in your back pocket, baby?
Vivian, you help him out.
Can I help you with that? Is it in your back pocket?
A lot of incidents with this guy here.
All right.
First it's the mic, then it just
I know.
keeps going.
It starts like that.
Before you know it, all of us are down your pants. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, okay. Pobrecito, no la asuste. Okay.
I'd love to say that would be the first time.
We're joking, okay? Relax. This
Even
is
you're making me
madness.
look. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Wow. All right, so we saw a clip of Star Trek. This is the new show. It's called Star Trek
Discovery.
Yes. So give us a little bit of a rundown. It's the prequel. It's leading up to the original series.
Yeah, so, it takes place 10 years before the original series, before we meet Kirk and Spock and his crew. And it's called Discovery because it takes more of an character-driven, internal relationship look at the crew and the stories of Star Trek. But, we're still journeying through the universe and discovering new planets and species. But we take a good look at how it affects the characters personally and their relationships. And so you discover a lot.
Yeah, there you go. I like the play with the word. Star Trek, even the original series was known for being this thoughtful sci-fi series.
Yeah.
That was a little different from maybe some of the other ones at the time. And the rest, I remember Star Trek Next Generation.
Oh, yeah.
As a kid, also they tackled like heady subjects.
Sure. They've always, science fiction is such a great way of talking about current events and issues without talking about them directly. We can use metaphor and analogies through science fiction in order to tackle subjects that are a little more difficult, and that's what they did in the original series. When you look at interracial relationships or just race issues in general, the original series really tackled that head on. But because they were talking about species, the differences in species, it wasn't as in your face.
It was hidden. But by the way, don't speak in too many metaphors or allegories on this show because it might confuse Vivian.
And me too, please, okay? Let's not get too smart here.
Vivian, it's the language thing.
Vivian's furious.
We have just been
fire coming out of her
Sure,
ears.
her eyes, her dark eyes. Okay, no, go ahead. Talk to us.
I know.
I'm gonna save it.
Right.
So, you're a fan of the show or of the franchise.
I'm here. You can talk to me.
How did you react when you got the news that you... how did you
man.
react when you got the news of getting cast for the show?
Oh, I thought you were talking to her. I was like, when did you join the show?
She has yet to go where no man has gone before.
Join the show.
What a discovery.
I was really excited. What a discovery.
Dennis, come on.
I was really excited.
Sorry, I got the wrong sound.
Ya, dejen de pelear y déjalo hablar, caramba.
I was really excited. I waited a couple weeks. I had gotten the offer, and then I had to go and like meet for the network and stuff. And so there was like a couple weeks that I had to wait, which felt like an eternity. But my brother was visiting at the time.
Oh.
So we got to celebrate while he was here.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so this is the first time that I really hear you talk about your brothers, because you've talked about coming out to your parents and that struggle, but you're one of 3 brothers, and are you the oldest, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm the oldest of 3.
How did they take it when you came out?
Well, I have 2 younger brothers. We're all 4 years apart. Gilbert and Joshua are my brothers. Gilbert did not take to it well, but I think just like any family member who knows you and feels like they know you, it could be
Shocking.
Really shocking. And so he needed a minute, as did my father.
Right.
But he's incredibly supportive now. My youngest brother, Joshua, is also gay.
Oh, wow.
And he came out just a couple years after I did. So he didn't have an issue. And we're very close. And actually, I actually married him and his husband.
What?
Wow.
That's so nice.
So you're like a minister or a priest or
Well,
something?
I went through the internet and I was able to do it.
An ordained minister.
Right.
So it's easy as 1, 2, 3, 1995. And
Sure. I didn't have to take a vow or anything.
Okay.
But I did. I actually became an ordained minister for my father.
That's
my
awesome.
brother's wedding.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
I was going to say for my father's wedding, but they're still married.
Okay. Well, in case they decide to retake their vows or whatnot.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
too much work into that.
Yeah.
So I hear that you have other kind of hobbies going on, like the saxophone.
Oh yeah.
Well, when
It's one of my
started out-
favorite instruments. No,
You play
I
it
can't
too?
play it. No,
Oh, I
I
was
wish.
about to say.
I play
But I
saxophone.
love listening to it.
Yeah.
That and the violin are my favorites.
It was the first thing I did creatively.
Okay.
Was learn an instrument. So I learned to play the alto sax in like 5th grade, and then I went and learned how to play clarinet after that, and flute, and music was my first love. And then I started dancing, and after dancing, I went into theater. And
There's this guy that stands always in Central Park in New York. The
plays the
saxophone
sax?
guy.
I'm sure there's a
yes,
few
in front-
people.
I mean, a few people, but there's one specifically. No, but there's one specifically that is always on the same spot as this old black guy, and he plays beautiful music. And I know
In
him.
Central Park?
Yeah, because I took pictures of him, and then I have random friends that go to New York that happen to take videos of him playing the sax. So
I've
mean,
heard some pretty
reminded me of-
amazing street performers in the subway.
Oh, for sure, that
amazing.
too.
Full on, like
That too.
they could do a concert today if they.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
There's some pretty amazing acts
yeah, the
there.
sax is pretty cool.
Do you ever get to play an instrument on any of the projects that you're involved with, other like on television? Because you've been on the stage before as well.
Yeah.
So
No, I've never played anywhere.
wow.
Well,
Yeah.
What are we waiting for?
I know.
Did you
Where's
pull
the
one out?
Where's it?
We should all go
Where is
in
the saxophone?
circle
Is
in
there
it.
a saxophone?
Live on the Zoom.
I have no idea.
Play something.
We
Of
have some
one.
sort of instruments.
We only have that.
Okay.
What is it, like a maraca thing or something? I don't even know what that's
That's
what's
a-
course
called.
we're gonna have maracas in this.
We love the Philly stereotypes on the Zoom, we actually have people that write in, like comment on our YouTube, like why are we so loud and why do we dance and it's like a cultural thing.
like, do you
We're
know who we
Latinos.
are?
I
Yeah.
know. It's like, come on.
It's tough for people to understand when they're not part of the
It's fine.
culture.
So
But you've
Pretty
been in
soon
it.
we're gonna take over the whole country, and the whole country's gonna be
Thank
like
you.
that.
thank God they're all gonna look like this.
You're welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna take a commercial break, and then I want to come back. I want to talk about some of the old school stuff that you did back in
Yes.
the '90s when I was coming of age.
Okay.
Okay, and
hope I can remember.
yeah, Dennis is gonna pretend that he wasn't as familiar with this because he
Oh
doesn't
my
want to date
gosh, what are
himself.
you talking about?
1994. You were already.
I
going through
remember
puberty
this
already,
stuff. Okay, fine.
You were in
We'll
junior
talk
high or
about
high
it in the
school.
next segment.
All right, we'll be right back with Wilson Cruz right here on the show. So back in the 90s, I remember the show,
God.
the landmark show, My So-Called Life.
Yeah.
To me, it represented.
Yes.
I believe I was 13 or 14 at the time, and just getting into going out and listening to music and trying to be a cool kid. And here's this show that represented the time. I was talking to you with you off camera that in 1994 you guys were really reflecting 1994, not like other shows and movies that are really reflecting 4 or 5 years ago, and the writers and producers are just trying to catch up. You played an openly gay. Were you Latino on the show?
Yes, I
Okay,
was.
so an openly gay Latino character in high school.
Yeah.
Which was pretty landmark. That's not something that we saw on the landscape at that time. So, what did that show mean to you when you were doing it? And since then, have you realized what kind of an impact that
Plus, they were
character
super
made?
young.
I was 19
Yeah.
when we made the pilot. I was 20 and 21 because it was a whole year before
Right.
we actually started making this series. Like you were saying, it is very 90s specific, and it's a great example of how, for all creative people that, the more specific that you become in your work, the more universal it becomes for people. So it was very specific about what people were wearing, what people were listening to, the school. But because of that, I think that's why it has lasted decade after decade, and why generation after generation has discovered it, because it literally has not been off of the air or unavailable since.
You're right. I
since
never
it
thought
aired.
about
Well,
that.
they were doing the reruns on what, VH1?
It was on. Right away, it went on to MTV.
Right.
MTV had it on a loop for at least.
Why don't
5
they do a
years.
reunion?
You'd have to ask them.
What happened to the girl?
I love when people ask me about why can't we do a reunion? Okay, I'm gonna do it right now.
No, just do it. It was Claire Danes was the star, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
who was the other girl? The girl with the beauty marks?
AJ Langer.
Yeah. Oh,
played-
AJ Langer. That's her name.
She played Rayanne. Yeah.
Oh, I had the
liked
hots
her?
for her. She was a bad girl. She was fun.
She did pretty good. She married a British lord and lives in a castle right now.
Really?
What?
Serious?
So what do you have to offer?
Hey, let's go.
It's in my pants.
She's
the original. Wait,
The
what did
original
you
Meghan
get?
Markle.
My spiritual totem. That's what I got offered.
yeah.
He's asking me what I got offered. He put me on the spot. It's the only thing I could think about. All right. It's honestly it's not that much.
Yeah,
honestly,
the only thing that
such a
can't
lucky
I know. I'm Cuban from Miami, so you can
God
imagine.
forbid you.
Wait, but now you're on another teen phenomenon,
Yeah.
13 Reasons Why.
I am.
And what is it like to be on that? Because now it's fame, but it's like a different type of fame because now you're dealing with social media and people can interact with you
And you put it on
they're
your
binging.
Instagram. I know all the reasons.
I know all the reasons.
That's really
Oh, you know
fun.
what you do, honey.
That's what he put on Instagram. I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, he has a sense of humor.
No, it's a whole different world. I mean, you know, when we were doing My So-Called Life, we were lucky if we even had like message boards. You remember, like message
Yeah,
boards?
oh yeah.
And you would have to go out on them at your own risk.
Because of the haters?
Well, just, you know, people say all sorts of shit. I mean, stuff.
Wait a minute, the message boards on the internet, or that was the beginning? Oh, those are like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
beginning. That was like AOL and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Prodigy.
Right.
Public
AOL
group,
would
like
have-
public group chats.
chats, yeah.
Instant
AOL would
Messenger.
have like a message board just for each show, and people would go on there and
Oh,
talk
this was
about
the
it.
beginnings of the internet.
Yes.
Oh,
Very
did you deal with
beginning.
haters then?
I mean, it was the 90s, and I was playing an openly gay character on TV.
I can't imagine the
I
type
was
of
an
language
openly
that
gay
they were
person
using.
on,
You're right.
You know, on television, playing that character. So I saw all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Some of it really funny, and some of it kind of dark.
We had a segment about our haters. That's why I'm asking.
Oh yeah. How are
Yeah.
yours?
Oh,
I mean,
honey,
they told me I was what?
Snooty.
Snotty?
Snooty?
Snotty is something else,
That's
right?
okay.
Snooty's
I don't-
better.
I think that's okay.
Snotty is mocosa.
Yes,
Of course.
don't say
Yeah,
snotty.
exactly.
I could be more of a snotty person.
No, you're definitely not, yeah. Ah,
That's more accurate,
Hopefully that won't
actually.
be when we're taping here. You know,
Clean your
you're at
nose,
home
Vivian.
Hopefully not.
With your
But what I'm
medicine.
saying, it's like that's why I was asking if in these
Yeah.
message boards, you know, you dealt with that kind of stuff. Because it's also like the famous online bullying and stuff like that.
It goes way back. To,
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
so my point was, you know, it's a different thing now than it was when we were doing it. But this cast is amazing. These kids are very close. They're a very tight
Yeah.
unit, and I would not be shocked if they were our Oscar Award winners.
Wow.
When we're looking in 5-10 years. I think they're that good. And
Wow.
the second season is going to be pretty spectacular.
Do you know yet when it's coming
Amazing.
back, or is
I
that
don't.
on
I
the
don't
rocks?
have an actual. We finished filming. I don't have the actual date, but I'm assuming it's sometime late spring, early summer.
So you're gonna be on season 2.
I am in all of season 2.
nice.
Awesome. And you play
Good
a lawyer
stuff.
in this.
I play Kate Walsh's lawyer. Kate plays the mother of the girl who kills herself in the first season, and in the second season. There's
Spoiler
more. There's
alert.
more. That's all I can say.
I mean,
That NDA.
yeah, I don't. You know what? You're probably gonna tell me I can't say anything because I could probably go on and on asking you a bunch of questions about, you know, your participation in 13 Reasons Why.
Give it a shot.
Well, I was gonna ask you, are we gonna learn a little bit more about this character's personal life? You know,
No.
it's just in the courtroom.
Yeah, which I appreciate. You know, I mean, like this is who he is. Like his work, you can tell how passionate he is. You can tell how important this particular case is to him, and we don't need to know any more about him. I think it's nice to play someone who's, you know, we can get to see him through his professional life and his
100%
Right.
and his
invested
duties.
too.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed playing a lawyer. I kind of fulfilled one of my dreams because I thought I actually was going to be a lawyer at one point.
Really?
I went to school and was like, I'm going to be a lawyer. I realized the only thing I liked about it was the performance aspect.
Yeah.
That's exactly
And
what I was
that's what
saying.
happened. Yeah.
When I was little, I always said that I wanted to be a
Not
lawyer.
my.
That
not
and
my
telling
thing.
people off, you know. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, I could do that.
Like
once
just
I started reading,
Exactly.
once you read the law books, you're like, no way.
Justiciero, chaga chaga.
Right.
You no. I could totally be that.
She doesn't want to be a lawyer. She wants to be the judge.
I was just going to
You
say.
are a judge.
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
judge Ed is what you are. A little Mexican judge.
here.
When I know the
Judge Ligarde. all
Judge
right.
Ligarde, caso cerrado.
Wilson, I gotta, you know, with all due respect, but you look amazing, and that outfit that you had on Star Trek.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if it was the costuming department
Yeah, I thought
that
you were referring to
made
me right
everything look.
Then it's all just passed out.
No,
You just went this like a.
There was one part where, you know, he saw you from behind, and I'm like, you know, baby got back over there. Is it because you know, have a good exercise routine, or is
No,
it
it's because I'm Puerto Rican.
Exactly.
Hey!